Sometimes you have to read stories that reptilians live among us, creatures that are similar in description to prehistoric lizards. There is even an opinion that some people are actually reptilians, as they allegedly came from another planet. In fact, such visions are easy to cause with the help of certain chemicals. This has been proven by scientific and medical experiments. They are everywhere. Evidence and mention of reptilians are found in almost all ancient world cultures. For example, figurines of creatures resembling dinosaurs about 7,000 years old were found on the territory of Mesopotamia. The ancient Sumerian texts tell about the Anunnaki, who at one time ruled over the inhabitants of the earth and also looked very much like lizards. The Indian Vedas mention the serpentine race of the Nagas, who are able to change shape. The Zulus have myths about the Chitauri, sinister creatures with the heads of pythons. South American Indians once revered Quetzalcoatl, a deity whose name translated as feathered serpent. Finally, the people of Asia believed that the emperors were descended from heavenly dragons. In our time, information also periodically appears about meetings with the reptilians. Moreover, intelligent ones. Often they are identified as aliens from outer space. Experiences with psychedelics. In 1990, the University of New Mexico was researching the psychedelic drug N-dimethyltryptamine, better known as DMT. This substance is one of the natural origin and is found in both plant and animal organisms. The experiments were supervised by physicians and assistant professor of psychology Rick Strassman. They involved 60 volunteers who received more than 40 injections of the drug. All subjects were physically and mentally relatively healthy, had different ages, genders, nationalities, professions, and religious beliefs. Also, according to the conditions of the experiments, they did not maintain any contact with each other. During the study, participants were asked in detail about their condition, and more than half of the volunteers said they experienced almost the same hallucinations. Cold and fearsome. First, colorful pictures appeared before the eyes of the subject, as in a kaleidoscope, and a vibrating sound was heard in the ears. Then the person, as it were, flew out of his body and found himself in a room filled with the strange devices. And then there were creatures that looked like lizards. They had large eyes, webbed paws, sharp claws, and their skin looked very tough. Sometimes there were also robots, creatures that looked like huge praying mantises and grey men from science fiction films about aliens. But the main ones apparently were the reptilians. They telepathically communicated with people. Almost everyone described them as cold and indifferent, smart and quick-witted. In addition, the subjects recalled that when dealing with reptilians, they felt intense fear. At the same time, people were under the impression why the DMT-induced hallucinations were the way they were is still unknown. Some researchers suggest that the drug activated previously dormant areas of the human brain. Modern physicists believe that a person is able to perceive only 0.005% of the visible light spectrum, and beyond our perception, a wide variety of life forms can exist. There are those who believe that the psychedelic opens a portal to another dimension, but one way or another, this information is a reason to think. If in an altered state of consciousness without any suggestions from the outside, people see the same pictures, maybe these things and mysterious entities really exist or once existed, and now they were transmitted through gene memory. The serpent connection from ancient myths to modern time. This is highly controversial and thought-provoking subject. We will therefore investigate the topic from a scientific and mythological point of view. The human-reptilian connection is very old. Reptilian-like humanoids and lizard people are described in many ancient texts and religions. As long as humanity has kept records of its existence, legends of a serpent race have persisted. These myths tell a mysterious race of a superhuman reptilian being who descended from the heavens to participate in creating humankind and to teach the sciences, impart forbidden knowledge, impose social order, breed with us, and watch over our development. The serpent-like beings were not alone, but were part of routine of super beings thought to be gods by the ancients. Yet in cultures as widespread and diverse as those of Sumeria, Babylonia, India, China, Japan, Mexico, and Central America, reptilian gods have been feared and worshipped. To this day, the dragon or serpent signifies divine heritage and royalty in many Asian countries, while in the West, the serpent represents wisdom and knowledge. The symbol of two serpents coiled around a staff, known as the caduceus, is today used by the American Medical Association as its logo, wrote Jules Lewels, PhD, in his article, The Reptilian Humanity, Historical Link to the Serpent Race. The subject of reptilians has become popular since some decades when David Icke stated that some human beings on Earth are not normal like us, and they are reptilians. So it is possible that we evolved from reptilians. There are certain physiological similarities between humans and reptilians. We have what is known as the reptilian brain. It controls vital functions such as heart rate, breathing, body temperature, and balance. Our reptilian brain also includes the main structures found in a reptile's brain, namely the brain stem and the cerebellum. The reptilian brain is reliable that tends to be somewhat rigid and compulsive. Our eyes are also constructed like the eyes of reptiles. In both humans and reptiles, the eye acts as a box with a lens to focus the light that passes through it. Cells within the eye process the light and turn it into useful information. Scientists have for long been aware of that the lizard has a heart that is virtually indistinguishable from a human embryonic heart. While the structure of the human heart has been known for a long time, the evolutionary origin of our conduction system has nevertheless remained a mystery. Now a century-old mystery has thereby finally been unraveled about the evolution of the human heart. Researchers have finally succeeded in showing that the spongy tissue in reptile hearts is the forerunner of the complex hearts of both birds and mammals. The new knowledge provides a deeper understanding of the complex conductive tissue of the human heart, which is of key importance in many heart conditions. The heart of a bird or a mammal, for example a human, pumps frequently and rapidly. This is only possible because it has electricity conductive tissue that controls the heart. Until now, however, we haven't been able to find conductive tissue in our common reptilian ancestors, which means we haven't been able to understand how this enormously important system emerged, says Jark Jensen, Department of Bioscience, Aarhus University, along with Danish colleagues and colleagues from the University of Amsterdam. He now reveals that the genetic building blocks for highly developed conductive tissue are actually hidden behind thin wall in the spongy hearts of reptiles. Since the early 1900s, scientists have been wondering how birds and mammals could have developed almost identical conduction systems independently of each other when their common ancestors was a cold-blooded reptile with a sponge-like inner heart that has virtually no conduction bundles. We studied the hearts of the cold-blooded animals like lizards, frogs, and zebrafishes, and we investigated the gene that determines which parts of the heart are responsible for conducting and activating current, Dr. Jensen. By comparing adult hearts from reptiles with the embryonic hearts from the birds and mammals, we discovered a common molecular structure that is hidden by an anatomical difference. He added, considering the number of similarities we share, such as the reptilian heart, brain, and eyes, it's wise to say that they are strong indications that ancient reptilian-like humanoids hold secrets of mankind's origin.
With so many conspiracy theories out there, it's hard to keep track of them all. Welcome to What We Know, where we try to uncover the histories and mysteries of the world by presenting all different theories out there, and the only narrative we push is this. Here's what we know, make up your own mind.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.